data to address disparities. For this project, our role is to team up with community members and folks that live, work, and play in the Riverside area, as they are the ones that are leading the planning of a community-driven project or event that'll take place in the next several weeks. Our larger charge, however, and to make measures intentions crystal clear, is that the community must come first. We're involved to ensure that people most disparately impacted by policing, by crime, by the lack of relationship possibly, are heard, and that their voices are honored in the execution of this project. My team at Measure is uniquely interested in leveraging evidence-based policing. And so partnering on this project allows us the space to learn and to ask the vital questions and sometimes the critical questions during the process of this grant. Measure defines community policing as a neighborhood's ability to mitigate crime and to build relationship, whereas the officer is not just the enforcer, but an equal stakeholder in the process of community policing. So we're excited about this opportunity. We're excited to bring in community members that may not have had traditionally a voice in processes such as this, and we're also happy that the police department has partnered with Measure, because we don't always have the easiest conversations, right? But we are going to make sure that community members' voice and that their needs are respected during the process. We have our mobilization strategy called the CARE model, and the CARE model involves C, community, A, advocacy, R, resilience, and then E, evidence. So always, for me, when you see me up here, I am going to make sure that the community leads and that evidence is also driving the discussion. Thank you.
All right, well, as you can tell, we are very excited about the opportunity that our community has now, and with the partners that have just spoken to you, we are going to approach this project enthusiastically, but not with any predetermined outcomes or projects or things of the like. So I'm going to open it up for questions here in a minute before we run the video, but realize that we are in the initial steps of this grant. We've not yet really outlined any of the specific activities because that will be done in conjunction with our partners and with the community. But we'll open it up for a few questions if you like before we roll the video.
Chief Manley, you mentioned the need to rebuild trust, which isn't always easy. So can you talk a little bit about, one, how important is that piece of this initiative to you, and how do you plan on doing that?
Sure. You cannot overstate the importance of trust in policing today. Police departments cannot successfully keep their community safe without the trust of their community. So we go to great lengths at the Austin Police Department to build trust, to build relationships, to engage with the community, to listen to the community, to involve the community in our activities. And we recognize that all of that hard work and all of the relationships that we build and the progress that we make, at times we face setbacks due to an incident here or across the country. And so these investments that we have with our community, especially when we involve partner agencies, again, they are invaluable to us to continue to promote the importance of relationship building and trust in this community.
Chief, whenever you see those crime numbers in the East Riverside area you were talking about, put that in perspective. I mean, we're just hearing 8%, 9%. What do you think whenever you see those numbers?
Well, again, that's what makes me as thankful as I am that we have this opportunity, because as with every city agency, funds are always an issue when it comes to how much can be done. And this is an area where we invest a lot of resources in. This focused effort with community partners will allow us to address what has been a chronic crime challenge in this community, again, with what we hope to be new strategies that will affect long-term change, not just displace the issue that we're facing at that moment.
Will you have extra officers patrolling that area?
Again, we're not going to go into this predetermining what we will do, but in projects like this in the past, part of that work has been additional officers. It's been bringing in walking beats where traditionally they've been patrolled by officers in vehicles. So we will look at all of those strategies as well as new and innovative strategies as we go into this project.
Is there a different city that has done something like this, like hotspot policing? What do they do? What does that hotspot policing look like?
Well, again, I think police departments across this country are always looking for innovative policing. Hotspot policing is exactly what it says, and that is we gather a lot of data as a police department. We know when and where crime is occurring, and we try and focus our resources in those times and places where we think we will have the greatest impact on crime. So, again, this is going to be a significant amount of data collection, data analysis, but then the real focus will be strategies that may be different than what we've implemented to this point. That's the innovation that we're looking for through this grant and through this project.
I think a couple of years ago you said that this was kind of a priority for you to kind of work on East Riverside. What has changed the past couple of years for you, and then how much of a priority is it for you still?
So this is a priority for the department. Austin is the 5th safest major city when it comes to violent crime for cities with populations over 500,000. But I say often that depending upon where you are in Austin, you may or may not feel like you're in that 5th safest city, because crime tends to cluster at certain parts of our community, and therefore they don't feel as safe because they're not as safe as the 5th safest. So this grant will allow us to address an area that has been a chronic problem for us in new and innovative ways, again, by bringing in community partners and community members to identify new strategies that we hope not only will be a blueprint for here in Austin, but once successful, will be rolled out across the country to other communities that are facing similar issues.
Chief, I know y'all are in your initial stages. How soon will y'all be able to see results, or will the community be able to see results?
Well, the community, I hope, will see results pretty quickly in the level of involvement and engagement, and that's why we're promoting the website, and you're going to see the video here shortly, because a good part of the success will be determined by the amount of community engagement and involvement that we have. So I think at a minimum what will be seen very early on through this is the open invitation and the increased opportunities for the community to play a role in this long-term project.
Chief, this area is growing so fast. I mean, there's another, every time we look at it, there's a new apartment complex. Does that make implementing this energy more difficult? What role does growth play in this?
Well, growth plays a role in that we're a growing community and we deal with a limited number of resources. You know, as Councilmember Renteria was saying too, is we're also facing the possibility that we're going to see action at the state level that will impact our budget here locally and could further impact our abilities to keep our community safe. So I think that as we look at the growing population, but also growth in apartment complexes, when you have a community or a part of your community that has a more transitory population, people that are not there long term, then that can impact our ability as well. And that's why we want to cast our net wide and get as many people involved and engaged in this process as possible. We've seen a lot of interest in our long-term residents of this part of Austin, and we also want to engage with those that are living in the apartment complexes and those that are being constructed now as well.
Last question.
All right, well, we'll play the video for you now, and we'll let y'all get set up here for just a minute on the screen over here. So thank you. Well, yeah, we don't need to stand up. We can all go over here now. We want to watch too.
The people, it's not like anywhere else.
They are seeing my family. It look like I'm in Mexico right now. Young to old, every ethnic background, every cultural background there is.
I like the diversity and I like being close to downtown.
The location, it's a prime location, Laura. The airport, international airport at this end, Riverside, and at this end we've got downtown.
Some of the most beautiful views of downtown Austin from the Riverside conference going in.
The natural beauty of the hills and the mature trees.
It's close to neighbors, lake crab, central business district, boutique.
And there's a lot of good food over there because of the diversity.
I love the flavor, I love the culture, I love the people.
Who's that from?
That is something that you don't see probably in Florida and other areas here in Austin.
So just the area itself has a lot of positive benefits to it, positive attributes to it. Hopefully with this project we can make it as safe as possible to the
shoplifting is really big.
A desire to fuel an addiction could be potentially driving the robberies that happen in this area.
There's a lot of stolen vehicles, and there's also a lot of burglaries in both residential neighborhoods as well as the apartment complex.
Like most is robbery. I know people around me.
Violent crime is very temporal in this area. It increases dramatically at night.
The Riverside area has always had a higher than average robbery to individual count than other parts of the city.
Yeah, I mean, it's every day. And it's just a matter of when is it going to happen. Not if, it's just when.
I worry a lot about small businesses. That's my biggest worry is for them. Maybe somebody goes in there and insults them because they know that they are running on a cash-only service.
Challenges of conducting business in this area are the crime.
Robos. Amigos, pequeños negocios como nosotros, regularmente los pequeños negocios somos los más castigados. Asalto, mano armada. Han llegado y quebrado las puertas para entrar de noche.
A lot of the local businesses will get robbed during the daytime hours.
There is high drug use and drug sales that go on in the area, and I think that drives a lot of the crime as well, both violent and property crimes.
I feel safe enough to come out by myself and everything, but there are some issues about like the homeless and stuff like that. They get a little handsy if you don't give them money, you know, so that I'm kind of concerned about.
We have a lot of homeless in the area.
I feel like the homeless used to live in the woods in these unpopulated areas that were not have buildings before.
This here is a product of the homelessness issue that's in this area. It's widespread, and we do our best to address it, but basically we move them around.
And now they're being pushed out into the streets, so we're finding them a lot more in open public areas, such as at street corners, on the sides of buildings.
Because you see, like, people begging for money and sell jobs and stuff like that. Is what I'm like. And especially over in the town. You know the towns over there? People live in the town. It's all in there.
There are little tunnels that are supposed to be drainage areas, and there are actual homeless camps set up in there where they have built walls that divide off parts of it. They stay there overnight, and then they're coming out, they're cleaning cars over there, which in and of itself, not the worst thing in the world, but disputes arise because of that, as well as drug use.
It's complicated because a lot of these subjects also have drug issues and emotionally disturbed persons or mental health issues as well on top.
They have mentally unstable, problems, and you don't really know what they're going to do or how they're going to react to things at times.
So we have a narcotics issue with people who are on the street. Specifically, the big one that's been the last couple of years has been synthetic cannabinoids, referred to as K2, Kush, etc.
So which makes them really paranoid and excited and gets their heart rate really going. When people see that, we get tons of calls on it. They don't know what's wrong with these people, or they're going to be passed out at the bus stop or on the ground.
I know there have been problems with meth and meth users and hanging out in the parks, drug dealing at drug houses with drug dealing happening.
Aside from the issues that we're already experiencing as a community, which domestic violence is huge here. It is very big because there's a lot of people living with people that they don't want to live with because they can't afford to go out.
Just because we have so many apartments, so many college students, so many people forced to live with one another, because when they apply to live in an apartment complex, they get put in with strangers.
Have different backgrounds and have never met before, being thrown together 4 at a time, living in a room. Obviously there's going to be conflict there.
CBCR is the community-based crime reduction program developed by the Department of Justice to improve neighborhoods and the quality of life of residents.
And it's collaborative in nature, involving residents in the community, the Austin Police Department, the research team at the University of Texas, and the nonprofit sector and local and community leaders.
We are working to ensure that the people are put first.
The overarching goals of the program are to increase trust between residents and the police, reduce violent and property crime, improve community safety and engagement, and to position the neighborhood for revitalization.
The first year of this project is focused on data and research, and an important part of that is the input from the community.
We want to get people together to understand perceptions of crime, what the strengths are of the neighborhood, what are the challenges, and what can we do to work together to improve the quality of life in the neighborhood and to reduce the amount of crime that's taking place. The geographic boundaries of the area are Parker and Pleasant Valley to the west, Riverside and Ladyward Lake to the north, Montopolis and the Dry Creek Bed to the east, and Old Wharf to the south. The geographic location of Riverside Old Wharf makes it a prime spot to engage in further development. And there are plans for that in the works. I think one of the challenges we're going to face that we've seen historically in Austin and other cities around the country is as we develop neighborhoods that aren't quite ready for it, gentrification is a potential challenge.
Measure is intentional about addressing the risk of gentrification. We want to work with partners and stakeholders in the community to find resources and protections against displacement.
As homeless individuals move into these new locations under the bridges and the tunnels, they're more visible, there's more crime, and one of the challenges that we're going to face in Riverside Old Wharf over the next 2 or 3 years is how to connect homeless individuals with the services that they need, how to reduce crime among this population, and how to make the neighborhood feel safer and safer.
To have a successful community, it has to be a collaboration between the community and the police. The police aren't an outside force. They're not just security guards for the community. The police officers they're actual members of the community. They devote their time, their heart, their individual beings to serving their community.
It's always important for community members to be involved in police projects directed at increasing public safety in their neighborhoods.
And if there's distrust, you're going to see an unhealthy community, right? You'll see either large amounts of violent crime or people just feeling unsafe with the people that are supposed to protect them. That's not healthy. Community engagement is a situation where the community and the police are working together to formulate those solutions.
As the project moves forward, we have to find ways to build trust and trustworthiness in the police department, between the police and the residents, so everyone can work together to mitigate crime.
We're all on the same team. We as the police shouldn't decide what they need. We should ask them what they think they need. And we should involve them in any plans that we create with them to help improve public safety in their neighborhoods.
Once you get to know your officers in your neighborhood, you'll feel safer reporting crime, you'll feel safer calling 911, and that's what we're here for as a department is to protect the safety of the citizens.
Another great resource for the community in terms of collaborating with the police is through our district representative program. The district representatives are officers that are assigned to each region of the city, specifically to work on issues impacting that community. If there's a neighborhood who would like to see more lights on their block or better security at parks in the evening, they would reach out to their district representatives, and that DR would put them in touch with the city resources necessary to get those problems taken care of.
A lot of the issues in this area are fixable, but I think it's going to take a lot of work from a lot of people and not just us.
If people have had less than great interactions with the police, we ask for a second chance. We ask that you engage with us, come out and talk to us at the community events. You'll find out that we're no different than anyone else. It's just our chosen profession that we have. And we all took this job to serve the public, and so we want to make sure that we continue to build on those relationships. We want to hear your concerns, even if your concerns are the way you may have been treated by an officer in the past. We want to hear that. We want to work through those problems. We want to fix that relationship and continue it on in a successful way.
If there's enough hands in the same pot wanting to do the exact same thing and accomplish the same thing, I think it's achievable, and I think we can do it.